tell you. Let me give you a little inside information about God. God likes to watch. Gives man instincts. He sets the rules in opposition. It's the goof of all time.
Well, we'll see.
Do not fully understand.
Okay, good. What is it? Winner, winner, chicken dinner? I don't think so. Winner, winner, sheen dinner.
Guys, we're just gonna have a great time together this afternoon.
It's bullshit. All right.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another Night Talk Live. Yes, it's all happening. It's going to continue to happen for the next 60 or so minutes. And we have quite the show. Quite the show lined up for everyone.
Exactly.
We're going to be talking about Gaia TV, Corey Goode and David Wilcock leaving the Gaia TV network, Luciferianism, infiltrating the Gaia TV philosophy and programming. And I have a lot of clips concerning the new series in question, Ancient Civilization. That's the new Gaia series that has the sort of quite the controversy with David Wilcock and Corey Goode asking to be let out of their contracts. So we'll see. Hopefully you all can hear me out there. I hope you can. I'm just going to go ahead and assume you can hear me. Sometimes I just got to turn up that headphone. Just go ahead and turn up the headphone. There we go. Oh, God. There we go. All right. Yes, I got the headphones turned up so I can hear everyone out there. Thanks for joining the live stream. This is Night Talk Live, and we'll be doing all the things I just said. We're talking about Gaia TV and David Wilcock and Corey Goode a little bit. I'll give you one of these out there.
It's all happening.
That's right. It's all happening. And I will be taking some phone calls in a little bit. But I think we got to get to the brass tacks here and talk about the main topic, Gaia TV. I was going to say Gaia TV. Gaia TV and David Wilcock. I've watched a lot of Gaia TV. And one of my favorite series on Gaia TV is Deep Space. It's 2 seasons long. I think each season is about 15 episodes. And it goes over the history of ufology, Project Paperclip, Roswell, German UFO technology. I think it weaves its way into kind of every other conspiracy and paranormal event. And they haven't really touched on Bigfoot yet in the series. But they touched on remote viewing, MK Ultra, Living in the Matrix. It features Corey Goode. It also has David Wilcock. David Paulides is in there. David Icke. They take these different segments of people talking about a particular topic and edit them into the episode. So David Wilcock is all over the Deep Space series. But I guess he's also been featured in the new series, Ancient Civilizations. And David wasn't happy about this new series, Ancient Civilizations, and he wrote a resignation letter. And this was all over Reddit Conspiracy and his own Reddit, Cosmic Disclosure, in early July. I kind of sat with it. I didn't know much about it. I didn't know that there was anything going on at Gaia TV. I just like their programming. They got some good stuff on there. They certainly do. And I will read a little blog post from this other guy, this other researcher and noted leading mind in various areas. And this is from Jason Golavito. And I guess I'll bring this up on screen. Should I bring it up on screen? Let's go ahead and get it up on screen. There we go. We'll get some stuff up on screen for people so you guys can read along. It'll be fun. Won't it be fun to read? I think it will be. Okay, here we go. I'll bring this up on screen. Boom, bang, pow, and we'll read along. Could be up on screen. Okay. So this is titled Friends of David Wilcock Say He Resigned from Gaia TV Over Bad Pay, Poor Working Conditions, and Lucifer. Late Friday night, ufologist Laura Eisenhower released a letter. She said that ancient astronaut theorist David Wilcock sent to his employer, Gaia TV, asking to be let out of his contract. I don't agree with that statement or how it was written, but okay. According to the letter, Gaia TV has an abusive work environment, unfairly compensates its employees, and deceptively edits its program to promote what Wilcox describes as Luciferian beliefs. This is already starting to cause me significant career damage, and it will get far worse if I don't do something about it fast, Wilcox is said to have written. I have willfully ignored an enormous number of offensive, disrespectful, and abusive situations in order to do this job the last 6 years, primarily out of a sense of financial dependency. He attributes this to having suffered physical abuse at the hands of his former girlfriend. The letter was not meant for public consumption, but Eisenhower posted it to Facebook after she said Gaia, a new age streaming video service, authenticated the letter. She pulled it off her Facebook page a few hours later, claiming that she wishes to avoid negative energy from Gaia TV. But the letter was reposted to Reddit. And paranormal radio host Jimmy Church confirmed it on Twitter that the letter is in fact authentic. While I have not independently authenticated it, the blogger writes, the letter bears all the hallmarks of Wilcock's style and contains references to his many and confusing conspiracy theories, but it reads to be authentic to this blogger who just wrote this. The crux of it, and I'll just play a clip. I have a clip of the Health Ranger, I think Mike Adams, talking about this. The Health Ranger, he's got a big YouTube presence. He is all about. I think he might be in charge of naturalnews.com. Don't hold me to that, but I think he could be. He's got his own YouTube channel. He talks about conspiracies, paranormal. He talks about Lucifer, Satan, ruling elite Illuminati, Christianity. He talks about good versus evil, a lot of that stuff. And he weighs in on this and David's resignation. And he's going to read in this audio clip that I have right here. He's going to read a little segment from David Wilcock's resignation letter.
Ancient civilizations, he says, is tantamount to a legal and intellectual argument in favor of Lucifer. Every episode I watched of season 1 inevitably steered the viewer back to the idea that he says God is evil and Lucifer is good. That's what he says the episodes are putting out there. The company, he's talking about Gaia, represented itself to me as a positive spiritual organization that promotes health, wellness, transformation, and seeking truth. But then they flipped and they turned on that. He explains in this letter. He says, quote, to then edit Corey Goode and me both into a show that aggressively attacks God as evil and Lucifer as good constitutes a breach of the contract I signed as an employee.
Okay, so that's the crux of it. And it sounded like David was unhappy with his contract and how he was presented in this new program, Ancient Civilizations. I watched the first episode, and I got some clips that I'll pull and play for you guys here in a little bit to kind of give context about why David might have been upset. But he's upset that there's a Luciferian agenda behind this Ancient Civilizations program. But meanwhile, all the theories that on a lot of conspiracy shows that I have listened to, Art Bell, you can go to Coast to Coast AM, that things kind of go back to, okay, how did we get here? Did aliens interfere with our genetic structure in some way? Were we created by aliens as a slave race to do their bidding? These questions that we ask in the conspiracy paranormal realm, at just a glance, are somewhat an affront to Christianity and what we know as most of the belief systems in I guess Christian Orthodox, whether it's being Catholic or Protestant or Baptist. If you're asking about aliens, it could be construed, and I'm sure it has been construed in the past, that you are pro Satan. And how dare you ask these questions? God knows all. So dipping your toes into these topics can be, I guess, a little scandalous. And I guess David Wilcock is upset about this, or at least how he was edited into the program. And so I went looking to see if I can get some context around what this new Ancient Civilization series is about on Gaia TV. And so I went looking, and I found this segment. Now, this is they call it episode 1, but it's actually Regina Meredith, who is, see if I can bring her up here on screen. Regina Meredith has a very long-running series on Gaia TV. She interviews everyone. She talks to people about UFOs or the quantum reality, giants, anything. She talks to everyone. She likes this stuff. And in this segment, she is interviewing the producer of the new show in question. The producer's name is Melissa Tittle. And I edited this together to kind of give context. So you'll hear jump, but this is Regina Meredith, one of the most prominent faces and personalities on Gaia TV, interviewing the producer of this new series, Ancient Civilizations.
I'm here at the Gaia studio in Boulder, Colorado with Melissa Tittle, the producer of our new series, Ancient Civilizations. And what about the whole subject of Atlantis? Does some speculation about Atlantis start seeping into the storyline?
Of course. I love Atlantis. Anton Park's version is that Enki went there to escape Enlil and build his civilization of humans, of knowledge, and it was destroyed, not because they were greedy, not because they were misusing their power, but they were defying the policies enforced by Enlil.
People are obviously going to perceive this in a lot of different ways, depending on their own background and belief systems. Are you expecting that it will be a controversial series, or do you think that it might build some new bridges between belief systems?
I think you can't build new bridges without controversy. So I'm hoping for new bridges, but I'm sure there's some people that are going to be a little upset. But the purpose is not to do that. The purpose is to ask new questions. Mm-hmm. Because obviously where we're at right now in society, the previous answers kind of aren't working.
So what kind of attitude is it best for the viewer to arrive at the first episode with, if they're looking at their own journey?
I really designed each episode to kind of crack a little bit of a code, and then at the end, how can they use that code to transform their lives? You, the viewer, yourself, how could you use this information in your everyday life?
There we go. Okay, so I'm not sure what is so controversial about this new one. I'll play some clips because there's been a long running show on the History Channel called Ancient Aliens, which talks about the possible origin of mankind, aliens' interference with our natural evolution. So I'm not sure why David would be upset now that Lucifer or Luciferian ideas are being interjected into content that he's a part of. And maybe I'll put on, what is Luciferianism? I guess I'll have to put this up on the screen, and then we can talk about it, like Luciferianism. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm not a big Lucifer guy. I'm not a big Beelzebub guy. Oh, I guess we'll talk about it just a little bit, put it up on screen. And so Luciferianism, Satanism is a rational focus on the self in relation to life here and now. This philosophy is based upon carnal fulfillment with considerations for the preservation of self. Magic is practiced as a type of ideological empowerment in psychodrama. Firstly, Luciferianism is a modern term for the ideological, philosophical, and magical attainment of applicable knowledge and inner power. The type of knowledge is sought through study, initiation, and the continual struggle of self-improvement through spiritual rebellion against the social concept of God and religion. So that's just a cursory overview, a brief overview of Luciferianism. I'm sure it goes deeper than that. But I don't really have time to go into the deep depths of Luciferianism. But David is worried about this. He's worried about Luciferianism. So what is in this new Ancient Civilizations program that is so controversial? Well, I'll play. I got 3 clips. Then I'll open up the phone lines here in a few, just to give context around this Luciferianism in this new Gaia TV series. And I might get flagged for this. These are going to be about 2-minute clips, but gotta play them. Here we go.
What Anton Parks began to translate was a completely different version of the Garden of Eden than we've heard before. Not only had the words been mistranslated, the actual location had been overlooked.
In biblical text, we constantly read about this idea of heaven or paradise. This comes from the Greek paradisios, and this literally means enclosure for wild animals. Not paradise, a term that was later transcribed as garden during the Hellenistic era. If we go back to the original translation in the Sumerian tablets, it says, "The men who serve the gods work for them in the garden and are treated like animals." It is a very clear and recurrent theme. They are slaves who serve the divine community. In Hebraic texts, we understand that the humans seem happy in this so-called paradise, which is, in fact, more like a concentration camp, according to Sumerian texts. In my translations, we also discovered the word Karsag, which translated to City of the Gods. It's interesting that all the highest points in Turkey are named Karadağ, which strangely resembles Karsag.
Karadağ translates to Black Mountain and also refers to the highest mountains in Turkey. The only summit with the name Karadağ that is close to the Mesopotamian plain and tributary of the Tigris, and only a few kilometers from the Euphrates, stands 29 kilometers south of the city Sirt and 19 kilometers southwest of the city of Ur. Is this the paradise described in the Sumerian text?
So you can kind of hear where they're going to take this program. Re-examination of old Sumerian text, retranslation from that new guy. He's prominently featured in the first episode. I think his name's Anton Parks. So they're re-examining what was the Garden of Eden, which is definitely spitting in the face of the Bible and Christians. I mean, if you take it as verbatim, Adam and Eve living in a garden. Snake comes by and goes, "Hey, you want an apple? Go get that apple. I'm a nice snake. I'm a nice steak. Trust me," kind of thing. I don't remember the last time I read the Bible. That's what I remember. So David Wilcock appears to be concerned about that. So I will play this next little clip here. It's about 2 minutes, and this is about a re-examination. This is about the Garden of Eden and who might be at play here.
They are called gods, but they were humanoid beings of a rather reptilian type. The texts of Eden that I translated depict clearly and quite frequently the reptilian features of the gods. I personally estimate that the gods arrived approximately 300,000 years ago. And this derives from the fact that Homo sapiens arrived shortly after. I say this because throughout the text, genetics and the transformation of the human being are recurrent themes. The 2 particles that compose the word Eden are E, which means home, and Din, or Tin, which is life. But indeed, they are not alone. Humans are already on Earth. Who are these human beings?
If the Sumerian gods realized that they were not alone, what might have been their interaction with these kinds of humans?
What can be noted in the Sumerian tablets, when they clearly speak of creating workers to serve the Anunnaz, the main geneticist is always Enki. He works with the genome that is on the planet to create a new kind of human. He is usually helped by priestesses that we often call the Nintis, who are the priestesses of life. They know how to clone with him. He can change the human genomes according to what Enlil asks of him, which would be left-brained, well-disciplined humans.
When we look at the Sumerian tradition, it is a group of beings rather than one being that creates humankind. So it is not a single creator, but a group of intelligent, technologically advanced beings. And where the Sumerian creation varies from the Christian traditions, for example, and some of the native traditions, is in the Sumerian traditions, humankind began with the sacrifice of the life of an advanced being, of a god from Sumeria, so that that god's DNA, or the blood is what the texts say, could be mixed with the elements of the earth to create the first viable human.
So you got a Prometheus kind of storyline going on. A Prometheus kind of, the opening sequence of the movie Prometheus, you had this bald, white albino god, like, or alien. I don't know. We shouldn't call him God. Alien. Sacrifice himself, and his blood and guts get spilled out into the rivers and lakes of the of planet Earth, and that gives rise to life and us. So there's probably some parallels there with what the director, I think Ridley Scott, was trying to get across versus Sumerian text. But this idea that they're presenting in this new series is not anything new to ancient alien theory, the origin of mankind, when we're talking about that. So I don't see what David Wilcock is upset about when it comes to context about these ideas. Now, granted, I've only seen one episode thus far, but these ideas have been around for a while. Now, here is the spot that I saw that David Wilcock appeared in on this first episode, and he was upset that the Gaia TV was trying to upload something to his YouTube channel. I believe it was the interview that I played with Regina and producer. He was also upset about that. But here's David in the Gaia TV show, Ancient Civilizations.
We now have the rebooted Westworld, in which something that originated as the idea of a robotic consciousness turns into essentially a flesh and blood creation, which is then infused with a consciousness, thus asking the question, if they can reproduce, if they are self-aware, is this not the next level of humanity?
An interesting and very important name in the biblical text and the Sumerian text is the word Adam from the Garden of Eden. Extensive tests have been conducted to see where this word came from, consistently looking for Hebrew roots, but it is a Sumerian word which means animals. Again, we understand that human beings were considered to be animals by the Sumerian gods, and this is where lies the conflict between two gods, Enki and Enlil. Enki wants to treat them like the other gods.
These two Sumerian gods have a conflict over the use of humans, and it is to be the root of the biblical story of the serpent in the garden. As the story unravels, the riddle starts with the origin of the word Satan, or Satan in English.
Satan in Sumerian means the administrator. For years, everybody has been looking to find where this word came from. Books revolve around this issue. It is a Sumerian term. I don't understand how nobody saw it. It is very clear. We find it in ancient lexicons. Enlil is often referred to as the Great Satan, the Master Administrator. In the Sumerian text, Enlil systematically asked Enki to go negotiate and talk with humans. He is always the one to deal with them. Remember, he is a humanoid with reptilian features. And in Sumerian tablets, he is always, or very often, called the Serpent, just like in the Bible. He is the only one that the humans are going to see. And when they see him, they see a serpent-like humanoid. I reckon this is why he is called the Serpent in the Garden. He is a friend of the humans.
There you go. So that certainly is a different take on the Garden of Eden, that the serpent, what we've all, I guess not we all, but I grew up, believing that the serpent represented the devil. And but in this, they turn it around, that the serpent's a good guy. He is the friend of the human. It definitely is a different take. I can see why it might be considered controversial, but I don't think it's controversial to anybody who watches the Gaia TV network. It didn't seem controversial to me. These ideas have been going around for quite a while. And maybe that excuse by David Wilcock was just the last. It's like, okay, I want to get better pay. Yeah, we get treated shitty there. Oh, and by the way, Lucifer's hanging around. Don't like that. That's the last issue. If you paid me well enough, I might hang around Lucifer. Yeah, that was the last one. It wasn't like, my God, there's devil worship, there's Satanism. It's just a bad message. By the way, they pay shitty. No, that was like the last one on the list. I'm sure if they threw David enough money, he might be able to overlook a few things. Sure. I watched a lot of David Wilcock on Gaia TV and Corey Goode. I watched them both. And they both have left the Gaia TV network. I'm actually trying to get confirmation of that. They put their resignation letter in, but I don't know if they've been let out of the contract yet. I don't know how ironclad those Gaia TV contracts are. We should have contacted Jay Dyer. He's the only person I know who works that I could actually talk to that works for Gaia TV. 614-388-9109. Be mostly happy to take your phone calls. Mostly. But I have watched a good chunk of the first season of Cosmic Disclosure, which is pretty much just a show of David Wilcock and Corey Goode having a conversation about Corey Goode being in the secret space program years ago, and him relaying what his experiences are of interacting with six-dimensional blue avian creatures, and there being some almost galactic UN that he's a part of. He talked about Martian colonies. He's talked about being a part of, I guess, the Solar Warden project, or at least being affiliated with them in some way. Talked about the Dark Fleet, the technology that was used by the Nazis, and then it was a rogue splinter group of the secret space program. He's talked about it. I mean, but it's just two guys, one guy listening to the other guy talk. It's not really a TV show. It actually probably fits better as a podcast. And I wonder if these two guys got together and say, look, we could probably be getting bigger hits on YouTube rather than Gaia TV. Clown Baby, go ahead.
Sure. I didn't see your Saturday show, but did you hear about this guy, Rich Russell, who hijacked the plane and went for a joyride and then eventually crashed it?
I only heard about it on the No Agenda show this morning. We didn't do a show on Saturday, but it's pretty interesting. Guy up near Alaska?
No, I think he was in Washington State.
Okay. That's near Alaska when you're talking to me, who's in Ohio.
Right, yeah, it is a lot closer than we are.
Yeah.
He was an airplane mechanic, and he just decided to get on this plane and take it for a joyride that he was presumably working on. It's like some turboprop, I don't know, propeller-driven plane. Apparently he has never had any training whatsoever to be a pilot. All he was telling air traffic controls that he played some video games. Apparently he was doing barrel rolls and stuff that was aviation industry people kind of have their minds kind of blown that this guy could actually pull this off, no formal training whatsoever.
Yeah, I brought it up on screen here. He's actually doing some, loop-de-loops, and it looks like, I don't know what kind of plane. It's not like a super small plane. It looks, it's a twin engine rotor. It's not a jet plane, but it looks pretty interesting. If he had absolutely no training, he's just going on pure instincts of using his gaming skills that he learned, playing Call of Duty or whatever.
Or GTA 5, probably.
Yeah, GTA 5, he's doing pretty good. Russell, said Russell, a ground service worker for Horizon Air, was permitted to get very close to passenger aircraft as part of his job. He was to drive the tractor that backed up the aircraft into position for takeoff. He spun the plane around Friday evening without raising suspicion and climbed aboard the 76 seated plane, but no one was in the plane.
That was a big plane.
Yeah, so it's pretty good. 76 people could fit on there. He would have flipped over. He would have flipped overhead switches and set the propellers to Bombardier Q400 sprinting before he roared away from Seattle Tacoma International Airport. So, okay, he took off from the international airport. So this is a pretty big deal. And it went on to say that he was suicidal, right?
Yeah. That has been determined. So I believe he pretty much flew around until he ran out of fuel, and then he took the plane off the coast and crashed at some uninhabited island. So I guess, hey, at least he didn't want to hurt anybody else.
Yeah, so it appears that this person has no manifesto, no digital trail warning of signs that he might do anything like this. He grins and selfies at work. He and his wife Hannah started a bakery in Oregon in their early 20s, and according to a 2012 story in a local paper, they were depicted as happy and in a determined couple. So it's just bizarre that this guy just kind of flipped out. Giving no indicators that he was.
You can hear him talking to air traffic control. You can find the videos on YouTube. He doesn't sound all that he doesn't come off as crazy. He's just actually joking around, having a good time with air traffic control, and they're not that happy about it.
No, they got to be fucking pissed off. This guy could put. He flew over other airspace, and this guy is not a pilot. Then he could put a whole bunch of different people in danger, hundreds of people, if not thousands.
Yeah, apparently had two fighters that's trailing them. But
yeah, they scrambled F-15s. Now the conspiracy here is that they may have shot him down.
They could have, but it doesn't seem like that guy's a threat. Because he went out over the ocean.
Yeah, so I have some audio here I can play. It's 11 minutes long. I doubt I'm going to play it all though. So hey, good story though. Thanks for bringing it up. I did not have that on the docket for tonight, but hey, it's your show as much as mine. So. You got anything else for me, Clown?
Well, that's good. No, that's it for now. So I'll hang up and keep listening, I guess.
All right, thanks. Shablagoo.
Shablagoo.
Here goes Clown Baby. Yeah, the air traffic control thing. This plane being stolen is bonkers. And I read someone in the Slack. I think Stan from Alaska actually pointed out that this guy was from Alaska. And I'll see if I can play a little bit of this audio here.
Start it up and get it to go. In a couple hours, I guess. But, I wouldn't know how to land it. I wasn't really planning on landing it.
99 Bravo.
Not planning on landing it.
Knows how to fly one of those aircraft, but we'll see what we can do and get you in contact with somebody.
Alrighty. I just kind of want to do a couple maneuvers, see what it can do. Before I put her down,
Departure Boeing 464. And so I can reach out to you a little easier.
A little bit.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Sorry, my mic came off. I threw up a little bit. Hold on. Shoot. Man, I'm sorry about this. I hope this doesn't ruin your day.
22, cross runway 16 left, contact. Just flying the plane around, you seem comfortable with that?
Oh, hell yeah, it's a blast, man. I played video games before, so I know what I'm doing a little bit.
Okay, and you can see all the terrain around you.
I'm right off the bat. The guy doesn't. If he's suicidal, he seems pretty chipper. It's a bizarre situation.
Got no issue with visibility or anything?
Nah, everything's peachy clean. Just did a little circle around Rainier. It's beautiful. I think I got some gas to go check out the Olympics. And,
Okay, and Rich, do you know, are you able to tell what altitude you're at?
Yeah, that's all mumbo jumbo. I have no idea what all that means. I wouldn't know how to punch it in. I'm off autopilot.
Oh, boy. Fucking fast forward a little bit here.
Hey, is that pilot on. I want to know what this weather's going to be like in the Olympics.
Well, if you can see the Olympics, the weather's good. I can see the Olympics from my window, and it looks pretty good over there.
All right, because I hit some, felt like turbulence.
Yeah, so the guy died. He's not with us any longer, but up on screen here, I'll bring it up. This guy, I believe, was a man who authorities say took the airliner and crashed, was a standout athlete in Alaska. The man, authorities say, stole the Horizon airplane from Seattle Tacoma International Airport and later crashed it. Was a gregarious, outgoing star athlete at the Waslila High School, remembered as a great kid by those who knew him. Okay, that's sad. When I listen to that audio of this guy,
you keep going towards the
Olympic doesn't sound like a guy.
We'll be able to hear each other.
I got a lot of people that care about me, and it's going to disappoint them to hear that I did this. I would like to apologize to each and every one of them.
How bizarre and sad and strange. Absolutely bizarre to hear somebody that coherent. He doesn't seem like he's broken up. I mean, verbally, it doesn't seem like he's broken up. He's going to go take his life. That was intention. That's what we heard right there. My God. 614-389-9109. And I'll transition on. I don't think there's a real conspiracy there or anything paranormal going on. It's just a bizarre story that happened. An absolutely weird story. All right, I do have something here, and this is a bit of an update. British UFO researcher who died after vomiting black liquid has had his laptop wiped by authorities. That's not fishy. I mean, you're going to want to do that. I'm sure he didn't have any good research on there about UFOs, and everything was on the up and up. So we just go ahead and wipe the drive. Because they got to they have to wipe the drive. They want to reuse that. They're going to resell it. Jesus Christ. British conspiracy theorist who died suddenly at 39 in Poland after vomiting black liquid had his laptop wiped by authorities before they returned it to his family. Fantastic. Friend found Max Spires dead as the UFO expert was attending a conference. The conspiracy theorist had messaged his mother to tell her he was in trouble. UK hospital unable to find the death cause. Polish authorities cited natural causes. Pre-inquest interview told today. A pre-inquest review today told that the contents of his SIM card of particular interest. Okay. Let's say today a pre-inquest review at the Guildhall in Sandwich, Kent, heard how the contents of his SIM card were also of particular interest. Before he died, Mr. Spires messaged his mother saying, "Your boy's in trouble. If anything happens to me, investigate." It's pretty clear. An initial inquest opened in December 2016 when the court heard he vomited 2 liters of black blood, but the inquest was adjourned last year. The father of 2 allegedly made many enemies in his investigations. His inquest will now be held over 4 days from January 7, 2019. I'm not sure what an exact inquest is. It must be a Polish thing. Authorities in Poland, where Mr. Spires was attending a conference, initially concluded the sudden death was due to natural causes. What natural causes make a person vomit 2 liters of black liquid? In fact, what poison does that? It sounds like the X-Files. At the pre-inquest review today at the Guildhall in Sandwich, Kent, the court heard that barrister for Max's mother, Adam Taylor, called for members of the Polish Emergency Service to appear as witnesses at the inquest. She's looking for answers, as well she should.
Involved in? What was his line of work or interest?
Always very difficult to describe, but it was to do with conspiracy theories, believing that the world was not told the truth, and seeking for people to come together under the name of love, but he was certainly exposing people who he thought were dangerous in the world of government, the entertainment world.
And that had led him to go to Poland, and you're concerned about what happened to him there, where he died.
Yes.
What were the circumstances of that?
He didn't know the Polish people at all. He'd always known the people he'd dealt with in the past. These people seemed to be involved in some very, very dark and dangerous areas of the world. And I was afraid that as he was gaining popularity and fame, that perhaps somebody would want him out of the way, i.e. not alive any longer.
And I think he sent you a text, didn't he, which indicated that he had some concerns.
Yes.
What did that text say, roughly?
That text said exactly, your boy's in trouble. And I was in touch with Max every single day for most of his life.
When you say your boy, he was referring to himself?
Yes.
But he also said something on the lines, if anything happened to him.
Yes, if anything happens to me, make sure you make full inquiries.
Now, since his death, you have asked for an investigation into his cause of death because you weren't happy with what the Polish authorities had discovered or had concluded.
The Polish authorities simply concluded he died of natural causes. I have had nothing else at all from the Polish authorities other than that. They're in fact suggesting, as of yesterday, that they can't release any more than that to me because they haven't got his written permission to tell me.
And what are you waiting for now?
I'm waiting for a post-mortem that was done in England within a week of him dying. I got him back here. I have had absolutely nothing whatsoever on that, so I have no idea of what's caused his death.
And what are your fears? You feel that he's met some foul end?
Yes, I believe somebody's killed him.
And really the key to that might be the result of the post-mortem.
It may be a key, it could be a beginning, it'll certainly be a help. If there isn't everything that I want that comes out of that post-mortem, then I will do a second post-mortem because I think there is much more to be uncovered.
There you go. A mother trying to get some answers for her son's death. Mr. Taylor said that who's Mr. Taylor? There's too many Misters in here. But Mr. Taylor said that Mr. Spire's laptop was wiped, but that it was not empty at the time of his death. He confirmed analysis of the laptop and mobile phone that belonged to him should also be presented at the inquest. The way in which they were returned and what was done to them is clearly one of the biggest mysteries, he said. The family has no knowledge whatsoever of what the results of that analysis were. The issue is the SIM card and what was on it. Without sight of the report, without sight of the report, the family has no answers to these questions. There's also a number of discrepancies in emergency service accounts about Max's death. The court heard. So there's a big. Yeah, I would be absolutely pissed if they said it was natural causes. Then you get back to contents of your loved one and they're all wiped. This is reeks of cover up and conspiracy. I want to know what. I got to figure out what conference he was attending. I heard it was a UFO conference, but I would like to know who was speaking and who was there. See if we can look it up real quick. 614-388-9109. I'll be mostly happy to take your calls. Let's see if conference. Let's see if we can find it. What was he attending? and maybe we can actually listen to him. So this is last words.
Traumatized.
So this is his death was caused a controversy among members of the conspiracy community, and so this is I guess his last speaking engagement before his death. And I'll bring this up on screen.
Rzeczy wykrywać, bo mogą być pojemstwo. 40. Proszę wielkie brawa dla nas. Krótkie słowo, tłumaczka. Maja jest tłumaczką. Welcome. Good luck.
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I have never done a presentation this way, so...
Dzień dobry, witam Państwa. Jest to dla mnie przyjemność, że mogę być tutaj z Wami. Wcześniej nie robiłem prezentacji w ten sposób.
This has been the biggest audience really I've spoken to about such personal things, but I feel it needs to be addressed now because it's coming to a climax. This 2016 year, everything is sort of...
So, I mean, I'll post this link if you want to. You can just look up Max Speyer's last lecture, and it'll come up on YouTube. I'll read this. This is in the description of this video. His death caused controversy among members of the conspiracy community, which made him the target of reports from BBC News and other news outlets. Max believed in a variety of paranormal events, including that he had been altered as a child to become a super soldier. Max's credibility as a conspiracy theorist has been doubted by other members of the conspiracy theory community, including Adam Browaski from Radio Paranormium, a Polish independent news journalist who stated Max, seemed to collect the research of other people and present it as his own, and that Max had never proven having any abilities related to his claim of being made a super soldier at birth. So, and then in July of 2016, Spires died on the sofa at a friend's house in Warsaw, Poland. According to Polish prosecutor handling the case, Max's partner called an ambulance. The doctors attended the scene, but was unable to revive Max. And then he puked up black stuff. But I want to see what he's actually talking about. What's the meat of his presentation here?
Są dwa sposoby. Jeden to jest naturalne połączenie seksualne mężczyzn.
They track through Project Oak Tree to find these. I think there's only very few women who have these specific stargates. Let's say 11 stargates in their wombs, and they found those and they tracked those. Okay.
Drugi sposób to jest
11 stargates in their womb. I have no idea. I've never heard of a stargate in the womb yet. I'll have to look into that a little bit more. Sounds intriguing. It's unfortunate he's dead. It's unfortunate that his hard drive and SIM card were wiped when the family got those back. Insane. I'll have to take a look at it. I wish it wasn't translated to Polish, but maybe there's another talk that I can find that will kind of enlighten us. So here's another.
Work on at the moment and explain that this is a war on the human heart, and Earth is the final part of multiple other planets that this has been done to, and Earth is the heart center place. So they're trying to take control of the Earth because it's the heart, and the way to do that is attack innocence. And the first thing you're going to do if you're going to take over a planet is you want to take away the strongest male energy. Yeah. So that's been done very calculatedly, especially over the 20th century, with the inversion of the original Baphomet. The original Baphomet, I think we were talking to you about this earlier.
He's got some theories, no doubt about that, and definitely the family deserves answers, but. As for how deep he's getting, I don't know. I don't go that deep. Not on a lot of subjects. We do a very surface level analysis of some of this stuff. I mean, I don't have time to go deep into a lot of these topics. In fact, I got a comment on a video we posted up like a few years ago, and Clown Baby was on the show, my brother, And he was talking about when he was doing his Monsters of the Week episode. Someone, commented, "Oh, the host doesn't even know what the Beast of Bray Road is, or something like that. He doesn't know anything about what he's talking about." I was like, "No, I don't know everything. It is tough to know about every paranormal topic, about every conspiracy topic, and dig into it and be able to give like an expert's opinion. I don't trust anybody who calls himself an expert on anything, and to have this kind of in-depth knowledge about any one subject is tough to do. If you also talk about every other topic under the sun." Caller, go ahead. You're on the air, please. Thank you.
Hey, I was wondering, did you check out that Dogman video? I can't remember what they call it, but it's the gimbal film.
I don't know if I had or not. No, I don't know.
And you can, it's pretty cool if you could just YouTube it and check it out. It's like not even 30 seconds to where they show it, and it is freaky. But I want to say one thing. There is a little bit of a conspiracy in that airplane thing.
Yeah.
I follow a bunch of people that talk about Q and analyze Q, and a couple of them are saying, well, Q was saying, look for the symbol and this and that. And they're like, if you look at the trajectory that this guy was taking around the island, he made a Q. And, they're going as far as, saying that it has ties to do with if you ever see the missile that was launched, we ended up taking down. There was, somebody launched a missile and it wasn't supposed to be launched. And,
you talking about TW Flight 800?
No, it's just the missile didn't hit anything.
Oh.
But back in, I think, June, Q showed pictures of a missile saying this was a unauthorized launch. Why, and then he starts questioning, why was this done? How did we stop it? This and that. And there's a picture of the missile there. And then, he makes references to the people talking about Q make references to what he said in that posting about the missile being launched and the airplane saying, this is probably controlled by remote. And, if you look at it, he really did. He flew a Q around the island.
Well, I'll bring, I'm into talking about it. I just found this article, Richard Russell, Plane Crash, QAnon Conspiracy Theories. QAnon followers believe that Richard Russell's suicide was a staged incident. Russell, 29, died on August 10th. But during an audio exchange between Russell and the controllers, he described himself as a broken guy, got a few loose screws, I guess. Never really knew it until now. And so, okay. The incident.
To me, if you listen to that guy, it don't add up. That does not sound like a guy that's that's already made it up in his head that he's going to commit suicide. That guy just sounds too put together in his head, To me, I've listened because I was like, man, this is crazy. I listened to it like 5 times, and to me, that just something ain't right. And I might be a conspiracy theorist, but
I am. I am.
In my ears.
I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy analyst. I talk about all the stuff. I don't know if I make up too much stuff. I will talk about conspiracy theorists. But listening to the audio of the guy in the cockpit talking to the FAA, he doesn't sound broken. He's not crying. He seems quite lucid. He understands what he's doing. He doesn't seem disoriented in any way. He seems like he has clear intent that he wanted to steal this and kind of go on a joyride knowing that he was going to die. But as for this incident, I'll go read this a little bit. The incident attracted the attention of President Donald Trump's most loyal supporters, QAnon. QAnon or Anon? I guess it's QAnon. One user,
like anonymous.
Yeah, anonymous QAnon. One user believed that Russell flew in a Q pattern on the group's Reddit thread, The Great Awakening. One poster wrote, "Does anyone else feel a little weird about this entire scenario? I mean, it feels like the mainstream media channels all had the story running with info as if it was staged. What are y'all thoughts?" It's a big plane, so And they have a picture that says that this is a Q400 plane.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 76 passenger. I couldn't believe he did the back. And I was like, if you look at, how for those, carrier planes, that sheet metal, the aluminum they use is it's like 0.043 inches thick. It's really thin. I'm a welder, and I can tell you that it's real easy to overheat it, and it just disintegrates to nothing when you try to weld it because it's so thin. That's just the wings. I would have thought they would have sheared off. Like, I thought when I was watching it in the break room at work, I was like, he's going to shear those wings off. But, that, who knows? I don't know how that plane was made, but I didn't think that it could do a backflip.
Yeah, he did some incredible maneuvers. This from that little bit that I saw.
They make those planes so light so they can carry fuel and all the weight of the passengers and everything. So it's not like a fighter jet. They don't have to, they don't have to carry the weight of, 100 people or whatever in a fighter jet, so they can do that stuff. But when you're carrying cargo or 76 people, you get a little bit of weight away from structural just so you can support the weight of people or cargo, know. But I don't know anything about that plane. That's just, knowing a little bit of what I know from 9/11 research and what they say about the plane wings would have sheared off. And, but the other good thing, Epistruck got fired, and the FBI has had a plane going back and forth from Little Rock, Arkansas, carrying boxes full of stuff, and they're trying to say, it has nothing to do with the Clintons, the Clinton Foundation. It has to do with a big drug bust. 2 planefuls.
I've heard that. Yeah, they're going to landing down at from D.C. to Arkansas, 2 plane loads of boxes and information, but that's for a drug bust.
Now, back to business.
Yeah. Hopefully they lock her up. Hopefully that's what happens.
We'll see. But this QAnon, and it's an interesting take. I didn't know about this. I just heard about the story on No Agenda this morning. Good catch here. I don't know about the conspiracy around it, but, if you put enough stuff out, if Q puts enough stuff out there, spitballs at a wall, something's going to stick. What do you think about QAnon? What do you think he is or she is? Is it an AI? Is it a real person? What's their purpose?
I think because the main reason I continue to follow it is in October he was talking about there's in the coming months we'd see that we find that we're being ripped off, that I think it was Turkey and China was selling us grade A metal, but giving us grade B, and that was going into our military equipment. So she was talking about this last October, and it came out in May or June, and it kind of vindicated him. And if you go through a lot of stuff after that, he's kind of been right. And that's the one that I looked at, and I was like, wow, that's pretty believable. And then you look at, when he's talking about how, what's her name? Peter Strzok and his girlfriend, Lisa Page.
Yeah.
How they get this information without, showing that they were the people looking for this information. Well, they would do it through the 5 eyes. If our intelligence agency wants to look some information up through their database, they have to go to England or, one of the other 4 locations where it doesn't tag their ID when they look up information. And he showed a picture of Lisa Page, in England. And then, he says, who's this other guy? And it looks like, Peter Strzok or, it might be somebody else, but it's definitely Lisa Page. And it's like, well, how would he have that picture of her standing outside of that building in England? And how would he have all these pictures that he has if he's just a nobody? But I think it's a group of people, possibly.
That very well could be. It also could be some sort of disinfo scenario where it could be part of a group of people working in an department to spread disinfo to lead people down a different path. It also could be like a very simple, maybe not even simple. I guess it might be fairly advanced machine learning or some sort of AI. Kind of like you ever hear WebBot? It makes predictions based upon other people's activity on the internet, and it makes predictions. It can make statements, and the guy who runs that, Cliff I, uses that data to make predictions about the economy, the world events, and this like forecasts. I guess it's not beyond the realm of imagination that you could produce an algorithm to collect all the same web data and then make posts using headlines and suggestions to make predictive posts. So it almost kind of runs itself at a certain point. But I don't know. I kind of like the idea that there's a group of high-level intelligence people trying to leak information to 4chan people. I don't know. It seems like a good movie.
And it's kind of if there really is this deep state that's been running the scenes, and you're a patriot, and you truly you're a constitutionalist, and that's why you got into that career, and you see all these backdoor deals, and the just that whole pedogate, if that's really happening with the Podestas and Hillary Clinton not actually giving her servers, and a second-hand company making a copy of the servers for the FBI, and that being let to happen and all that. Yeah, I would get fed up, and if I was in the intelligence agency and I had all this stuff happening, and I didn't want to lose my career.
Yeah, you might want
to think if you lose your career, then you can't help in the future.
Yeah,
I think that's what.
Could be. And someone in K-Dog in the chat says Q is a left-wing troll joke, which that also could be true. That's why I really don't give Q too much attention. Is there's so much to follow. I know other people follow it. I'll be happy to talk about it, but I just don't know enough about Q and the posts. And it can go either way. It could be as just a fun LARP. It could be a troll by the left. It could be real information from people within the intelligence community. It's almost kind of like Missing 411. I mean, I'd like to talk about it, but we don't come down to any conclusions about who's behind it.
But you forget the left can't even meme, so
they got a meme problem. There's no doubt about that. Hey, thank you very much, buddy. I got to get out of here. I got to go.
Hey, check out that gimbal film.
I played it. I played it on the I played it on the show. It was running in the background, and so far from what I've seen, it looks pretty cool. There's I'll play it when I leave the show here. But thank you very much. All right.
When you look into the story of how this came to be, if it's true, it's pretty cool. So, all right, take it easy, man. Blow me up.
Bye.
Okay, thank you for your call.
Yeah, I'm playing the film right now, and this is the Dogman video. It's called The Legend of Michigan's Dogman Gamble Film. I'll see if I can fast forward to where the actual Dogman appears. It could be authentic. It could be. It's right there. This is right there. That's the Dogman appearing, and it's moving. Look at that. Look at that. It's moving. It looks more like a bear man as opposed to a dog man. It's moving pretty quickly. And then the person's running. Oh my God! And he's being chased by a dog man. And then there's teeth and on the screen. It could be like a Blair Witch kind of thing. Could be a real dog man. I'll have to look into the actual story. I don't want to write it off just yet. Hey, thanks for everyone hanging out for this Night Talk. Joe and I will be back on Wednesday for the full podcast experience. Oh, yes, the full podcast experience. And we'll be taking your calls talking about, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I don't have a goddamn clue what the hell we're going to be talking about on Wednesday. But it'll be something. Maybe all these stories we brought back up again. Maybe more information will come out about that pilot who stole that airliner with Q400. Might be talking about that. Got a lot of things going on. Oh my God, it's all happening, people. You know it is. I don't tell you.
It's happening now. It's all happening. It's happening, people. It's real. It happened. I mean, this is real.
That's right. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for subscribing. And if you want the audio-only version of this podcast, you go to ourbigdumbmouth.com or obdmpod.com. Subscribe to the Patreon. If you want to join the Slack, send us an email at ourbigdumbmouth@gmail.com. Say, hey, let me in the Slack. This is my name. Okay? Thank you very much.
You blew it! I'm having chest pain.